It's a great pleasure to be here. I want to start by thanking my longtime colleague Thanos Mitrelias for initiating the contact and the government for inviting me for this wonderful island of CHIOS. I actually I spent the summers right across in Çeşme, so I'm quite familiar. I've been to your beautiful island many times and enjoyed it over the years. In my talk, I would like to speak a little bit about what I have done in my lab, what came out from our research in terms of technology commercialization, introduce you to Koç University. Many of you, I presume, would not know about it, and talk a little bit about entrepreneurship ecosystem in Turkey. So I want to start with the light stuff. We have been debating for a long time who owns the coffee, but for entrepreneurs, it's the essential fuel. It doesn't matter what it is called. And similarly, something funny with the slide, but it's shifted. Is it possible to fix? Slide is halfway. I think, is this a PDF or PowerPoint? Okay, thank you. Yes, similar debate about baklava, right? So the name, I can say sounds very much Turkish. It checks all the rules in our grammar, but anyways, it is also another sweet debate. So what I have been doing in my lab, again, we have the screen. Can you help it shift? Maybe. So from my lab over the years, when I moved to Koç University, I worked for a startup company in the US about 5 years. And when I became a professor, it was a little bit of a difficult transition for me. And because I was thinking too much about patents and technology commercialization, and for many years I encouraged my students to become entrepreneurs because they were doing great thesis research work. We were applying for some patents, but they have all looked up to their professors and sort of copied what their professors had done. Do the PhD, apply for an academic position, and don't worry about commercializing or doing anything practical for that matter, stay in academia. So I tried to encourage my students for about 10 years, and then eventually I decided to become an entrepreneur myself. So, but after that, my students followed the example, so I have many students now who are becoming entrepreneurs. So these are some of the technologies I wanted to give examples that we developed in my lab. This is called MEMS. Actually, the origin of MEMS is microelectromechanical systems, so already has several Greek origin words in it, but it's a laser scanner. Basically, what you could do is, as you see on your right, a little pocket-sized projector that we have developed. We were super excited about this kind of technology. We thought, in the future, back then, all mobile phones will include a projector that is integrated in the mobile phone, and we kept waiting to be, so that the company will be a unicorn. It didn't happen, unfortunately. There are often a lot of very good technologies looking for the market and for customers to enjoy, but it doesn't always happen. But anyway, so it was fun to work on these problems, and these are some of the technologies out of my lab that we license to companies. And can you fix that? Thank you. And these are companies that are spun out of my lab. CY Vision is actually, we received investment and moved the company to Silicon Valley in 2017. We started with wearable glasses, and later on we focused on head-up displays for cars, wearable smart glass, some security applications. Tarabios was a portable blood analyzer, And Stop Parkinson is right now going through clinical trials. It's a neurostimulator for Parkinson patients. And there are a bunch of ophthalmology-related projects that I have running in my lab currently. And something I'm very excited about is smart microneedles for cardiac monitoring. So you see our experiments with mice. But eventually, we would like this to be a smart patch that you put on your arm. And then from what is called interstitial fluid, it's not blood, but it's interstitial fluid contains all the biomarkers similar to blood that you could do a lot of tests by tapping under the skin. Anyway, so this is so much about myself, a bit of a self-promotion. But my university, you could see it's a quite beautiful campus in Istanbul, on the European side of the city. It was established by Vehbi Koç Foundation. Koç is a very well-known name in Turkey. The Koç and companies produce 7% of country's GDP. So it is the largest conglomerate in Turkey, and they have spent over $1 billion already for our campus, for medical school, and also continue to support, supplement our budget every year for this university. And in terms of research, in terms of every measure, actually, we rank at the top in Turkey already, although it's only about 30 years old. I could say safely that it's a top research university in the country. Here are some numbers. It's quite diverse fields. We have 7 colleges and many undergraduate, master, PhD programs. A lot of students on scholarship. They come from the top rankings in the national exam. And then there are also many paying tuition. That's how we run the university basically. And I'm heading the research and innovation as the vice president. So all research programs, graduate students, and many research centers. There are several related to social sciences and cultural heritage areas. There is one on Byzantine studies actually in our university as part of the archaeology and history of art department. Okay, so I'm not going to read this, but it's just to show you a little bit about the depth of things in the university. These are courses related to entrepreneurship. The first one I put, I will be offering it actually in the spring for the first time, so I'm putting it together. But there is a tech MBA specialization track and other courses students can take in the entrepreneurship track. So they could do a minor essentially in these fields. And we host many prominent speakers in the campus, entrepreneurship thought leaders. And then I want to talk about our, maybe switch again. Thank you. So this is a separate building in the city in Istanbul, a more central location. Our campus is a little remote. It's called Keyworks. It's the Koç University's Entrepreneurship Center. It was established about 8 years ago. We are running a lot of accelerator programs, pre-accelerator program, accelerator program, and some corporate accelerator programs on special topics. So this is how things look like in that building, in that space. Started actually before pandemic. People like to spend time in these offices, but during pandemic it was empty, of course, like everything else. And after the pandemic, culture has changed a little bit. More startups, people trying to stay home and work remotely from wherever, from Starbucks, etc. So it's not as lively, I must admit, anymore. But we are having a lot of events to bring people together. And this is only from, can you do that? Next. Yes, thank you. And this is 2024, from last year. And we were running 5 accelerator programs, 43 startups within the Keyworks ecosystem. And the valuation of the companies actually exceeded $110 million. It's for an accelerator program that is relatively new. It's a decent success, I would say, but this is expected to grow exponentially. And eventually, perhaps university will also make some money from proceeds. So we've had some small exits, but no unicorns yet. But in terms of entrepreneurship ecosystem in Turkey, its startup funding increased to $6.3 billion in 25. Istanbul is becoming the Silicon Bosphorus. That's, I guess, a name some people gave. Sounds quite nice if it happens. Again, flip, thank you. So it has climbed to number 3 in emerging entrepreneurship ecosystems worldwide. And these are some numbers. Nationwide startup funding was about $500 billion in 23. It has jumped to $2.6 billion. I guess it's not going to happen this kind of jump every year, but there were a few large investments, like one company received $1.1 billion VC money, and that made part of the jump. But anyways, it is growing quite healthily. And total of $6.3 billion in VC funding in 25. That's also a healthy jump from 24. I cannot say that economy is doing great in our country in the past few years, but at the same time, though, these numbers show that startup ecosystem is growing and quite healthy. Because whenever I hold an event in my university and ask students what they want to do after graduation, what is their dream job, I guess 30 years ago when I graduated, it was like find a nice job in a corporate. Large corporation, but now majority of students say they want to start something themselves or join a startup company and afterwards start their own company. So they are not so interested anymore in working for large corporations. The culture has shifted, and these numbers also show that. So other numbers I quoted. Next. And I say, in closing, we should focus on collaboration and perhaps unicorn startup creation. I think this could be done when we join forces. So we have argued for centuries about coffee and baklava, perhaps, but it's time to own them together and build the next unicorn. And I was not part of this, but at the beginning of 25, there was actually a hackathon between Greece and Turkey. Called Innovate Together. I don't know if anyone...
What's a hackathon?
Hackathon is, people come with ideas, spend a couple of days locked in a room to develop their idea, and in the end there's a panel and jury, and then sometimes...
Mixed teams. Turkish.
Yes. Was it? Yes, mixed teams? I see. So
they stayed all together and they formed teams that comprised by Greeks and Turkish people at the same time.
I wanted to find out some people who actually joined, but I'm glad you know more than I do. Great. Were you there also?
I attended the competition, the award ceremony.
Okay. Excellent. Yes, we can talk more afterwards also. If there will be a next one already planned, I'm not sure. Is there one?
Not sure.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. So, I guess we could. Can you flip that also? Yes. That's my last slide.